Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, judges. My name is Aaron Zhang, and I live in Vancouver, where technology is becoming a part of almost every job, even ones you may not expect. For this project, I wanted to learn more about how artificial intelligence is actually affecting the work in my community instead of just talking about it in a general way. So I interviewed someone with a very unusual combination of careers. He's both an architect and a stand-up comedian. At first, that sounded like a strange mix to me, but it actually made the conversation way more interesting because both of those jobs depend on creativity just in very different ways. Architecture is about designing spaces, solving problems, and balancing function with art. Comedy is about storytelling, timing, and connecting with people emotionally. Since both careers involve creativity, I thought he would have a unique perspective on whether AI can really help with creative work or not. One of the most interesting things he said was about comedy. He explained that most of his jokes and material comes from his own life experiences, things he has gone through, observed, or felt personally. He told me that AI is kind of dumb in that sense because it doesn't actually have memory in human sense. It doesn't live life, build real experiences, or understand emotions the way that humans do. It just pulls patterns and information that already exist. The idea really stuck with me. AI can definitely generate words, jokes, or ideas, but it can't truly experience embarrassment, joy, stress, awkward moments, or relationships. And in comedy, those human experiences matter a lot. A joke is often funny because it comes from something real and relatable. That made me realize that AI can imitate creativity. It doesn't really create it in the same way a person does. When we talked about architecture, his answer was more balanced. He said that AI can actually be useful in that field. For example, AI tools can organize information, analyze data, generate design concepts, and create visualizations more quickly. That can save time and make the process more efficient. Instead of spending hours on repetitive tasks, architects can use that extra time to focus on bigger decisions and more creative parts of the job. What I found interesting is that he didn't see AI as a replacement for architects. He saw it more as a tool, something that can support human work rather than taking over it completely. That changed the way I think about technology. Before, I mostly thought AI was something people were worried about, like it might replace jobs. But after this interview, I started seeing it more in a realistic way. In some careers, AI can work faster and easier, but the human side, judgment, originality, emotion, and personal experiences still matter a lot. This project also made me think about my own future. As technology keeps developing, I think it's going to be very important to build skills that AI can't easily replace. For me, that means creativity, problem solving, adaptability, and knowing how to use new tools without depending on them too much. I think the goal isn't to compete with AI in doing repetitive tasks. The goal is to become better at the things that make us human. After doing this project, I felt both curious and cautious. AI is clearly changing the way people work, and it will probably become even more common in the future. But at the same time, this interview reminded me that our experiences, stories, emotions, and creativity are still what make us unique. Jobs like architecture and comedy show us that no matter how advanced technology gets, there are still things that only people truly can do. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron Zhang. I apologize, I mispronounced your last name. So, Priti Raman, do you have a question for Aaron Zhang?
Indeed, Aaron, thank you so much. I see that your interview was fascinating. I really loved listening to it. And then I was wondering why I laugh at Alexa's jokes. Anyway, so 5 years ago, if you'd asked like people, right, they would have said, well, AI can't write music, AI can't tell jokes, AI would not be good at writing. But still, now we're seeing AI can write thesis, AI can write novels, AI can create music. And so you are now telling me that the problem to focus on or the skills to build are creativity and problem solving, right? And so
Yeah.
what makes you confident that this time is different and we got it right and those are the two skills that we should focus on?
Uh, well, 5 years ago, I don't think anyone knew much about AI up to recent years. There's only ChatGPT, that was a big name. But now as more people are developing new AIs like photo generators, there's like specific AIs for coding, writing stuff, math, all different things. And I think that these new AIs have more features that allow them to expand on what they provide to us rather than just simple answers like doing math or searching up a word in the dictionary.
Okay, do I have time for a follow-up, Phil? I guess maybe
Sure, go
not.
ahead. Go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So my question is, you said like you want to focus on problem solving, right? But what if AI can actually solve those problems for us? Then what do we do? That's what I was trying to ask.
If AI, okay. If AI can actually solve, example I mentioned was architecture, right?
Hmm.
Or comedy. Let's do comedy. If it can actually solve what we, if it actually creates jokes that humans will actually laugh at and relate, then that's probably because another human has put it on the internet and it extracted it from the internet and put it out again. But I don't think AI actually has the capability to generate questions from a human's mind.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Aaron.
Uh,
Thanks, Phil.
thank, you're welcome. You're welcome. Howard, do you have a question? Do you? Howard, you're muted.
Yeah, we just heard Principal George ask us, said that if AI can do any job, right? Now, you talk about a joke. We talk about a joke. That's different from stand-up comedian, right? Yeah. So I think maybe the stand-up comedian is one job AI cannot replace, right? But anyway, your interview is very interesting. I think the different perspective, comedian and architect is obvious because the creativity level, right, required for the job. I have a question, let's just say realistically, you mentioned realistically, yeah, for future job. So now you can't say everybody to become a comedian. So suddenly we have a 1 million comedian in Toronto, but just one architect in. So my kind of a question is that would be a tragedy that everyone look for the same job, the same type of job, not just the comedian. Yeah, if there's some desired job that relatively difficult to be replaced by AI. Is that the world where envision that everybody just do the same job? And is that a good ideal world? So
Uh,
that's my question.
so you're saying that if everybody does the same job, would that be ideal?
Yeah, because they try to avoid be dominated by the AI in their profession
Okay, well,
or replaced.
obviously, a million comedians in Toronto wouldn't be good compared to one architect, but I think there's no job that AI can fully replace. Maybe one level of the career, let's say a fast food chain. There's multiple chains in China that are only ran by humans, but up to the next level, they still need a human manager to just watch over. Like the simple tasks can definitely be replaced by AI, but there's obviously more and more that humans can do and humans need to do because AI just doesn't have the capability to comprehend all of that yet.
So because now the parents always ask the professor said, what major, you know, should be better survived in the AI era, right? So in your opinion, we don't need to worry too much, right? Because every job.
Yeah, I believe that we don't have to worry too much, and every career has its
Oh,
own creative parts.
Okay,
mm.
that's very positive. Thank you.